I'm sitting here with Leigh Bowery, who has just done a performance, the opening performance. Can you say something? You know, it's sort of. I know that you sort of had the feeling that it was sort of the opening.
The idea was that we wanted to declare the exhibition open, and we wanted to sort of like. I mean, it really was like a champagne bottle smashing, the idea of something breaking and then something opening. So those two elements were the kind of trigger for our show, which was just me swinging through a plate of glass. And it was quite something.
But how does this compare? Because normally you do these performances at nightclubs or something like the Roxy, where you have an entirely different audience.
Well, I must say I like a nightclub audience more than practically any other audience because they're young and they're kind of got lots of energy and I mean, today I was very surprised. This is really like a very foreign environment for me. The country, people with children and families. It's really not the sort of audience I'm used to. And I mean, I had an idea about that. So we wanted to have elements of nudity and we wanted to have some things that would kind of like be linked to the family and linked to sort of behavior and so on. But it was weird. I mean, I can't really tell what the performance was like. It was very different to how we rehearsed it, and you know, the sound sounded a bit rotten, and all of a sudden they said, okay, now go on, and I felt really less prepared than I usually do in a kind of a stage show, for example. But I think that kind of feeling of panic maybe was nice for the audience. It maybe unsettled them in some way, and there was the sort of feeling of anticipation.
The performance, you mentioned that you saw children. Did you feel that sort of restricts you in a way?
No, I feel that the opposite. I think when there's children, first of all, the children really are very open to the whole thing, and I really like the parents getting anxious and like, oh my God, turn the children away, take the children away. You know, oh, there's no clothes on, he's got pegs on his dick. What is going on? There's going to be blood. You know, like I like all of that. I like the parents getting freaked out, and the children are like cool. It's like sort of a cartoon or a horror movie or something like that. And this show, in lots of ways, it feels like a haunted house. It feels like something that children have got a lot of references for.
Right, it's sort of a place to discover and a place where you
and it's
normally
like sort of a place where you're being manipulated and scared, and there's dark and light and there's objects and things are sort of intense in a way like maybe a sort of fun fair or, you know, a sideshow.
I see that you have a lot of scars and on your face. Are these from previous performances?
No, this is from today, because the glass was meant to break on impact and then fall away, but unfortunately my body was the thing which took it away, really. So where I made contact with the thing, there's like kind of a lot of cuts, but nothing very serious, no stitches.
And the sort of the dimples in your cheek, are they from a previous performance?
Yeah, they're from another performance. It's just like a plastic stud in here for piercing and so on. So that's from something else. It was basically like a homage to the punks in London from like 1976, where people used to wear safety pins.
Right.
And so I had them pierced, and I've worn different things at different times.
When people ask me about things like piercing, they always think that the people who do the piercing, that they are very violent, and it's my experience that it's not so at all, that most people who are into piercing are very kind people, and it's sort of a different type of experience, a personal experience for them.
It's a different experience. I mean, I don't know about kind, but I mean, I certainly like people thinking that you get pierced, you're violent, because I mean, I like sort of having a little bit of space left around me, and I don't really like making pieces to be approachable or anything like that. But I think for me, piercing has just been a way of, first of all, recognizing my body and claiming my body and transforming it, and it's sort of some difficult things that have been maybe a little bit painful have been like a kind of passage. It's been very interesting for me. I mean, I still feel not entirely in charge of my body. I don't feel as though I own it exactly. It feels like as though it maybe belongs to my parents or it belongs to the government or something like that. So every time that there's something that's very body-based, I kind of feel more in touch with it in a strange way, more connected.
So in other words, you feel that you sort of can, you're sort of just at the beginning in terms of this type of performance?
Yeah, I mean, I think that sort of, in all the things I've done over the last 10 years, the body has been like the central thing, and it's kind of like the imagination. I mean, it's anything, it's endless. I mean, there's like so much you can do, and the more I kind of become involved with people who sort of do body manipulations and all kinds of performances, you know, the more exciting it becomes. And I mean, I've been starting to use voice much more, and that also feels like, I mean, it feels sort of like something like piercing. I mean, this is another like physical thing that has got a lot of possibilities.
Are you familiar with the work of Bob Flanagan?
Yeah.
Because I just curated him in a show, and it was interesting to also read his writing, because he talks about pain like it's a drug for him. He says it's the most pleasant drug that he can imagine.
Pain.
Pain.
Well, there's lots of ways of interpreting pain, and I mean, there's like the endorphin rush that you get after pain and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's certainly a physical experience. I've got to say that it's not, none of my work is a pursuit of pain. It's like kind of either something coincidental, or it's something that I, you know, that you just have to deal with.